And we're going to continue another 10 minutes in Sichos Haran. Okay, so we're continuing. We're up to Lamed Gimel 33. Yeah, continuing. So Shiv Pam Achas Hoy Medaber Me'emina. So this is Reb Nosson saying that another time Reb Nachman spoke about a minna the following. He says, Onav Omar. He responded the following about a minna. He said, Omar. He said, Aitzla Oilam. According to the world, he says, a minna. A minna, belief in Hashem. He davar cotton. It's something small, and then it's not that big. This is Reb Nachman talking 200 plus years ago. He says the Atzli, but according to me, this is 200 years ago. He says according to me, Emina he davar godol ma'oid. Simple Emina in Hashem. This is a big, very big thing. Okay. Anyway, he says the Ikra Emina. He says the main Emina is Belishim Chachmas v'Chakiras Klal. No chachmas, no chakiras, no wisdom, no philosophy at all. Continuing, rather b'pshitas guma, as simple as possible, a minna in Hashem. Yeah, kamoisha hanushim v'almoin am hakashayrim maminam, just like the women and the general populace, not that hakashayrim, those that are kasherim. How they believe, without access to the Torah, right? The way they believe, this is 200 plus years ago. This is what he says. That's 33. That's the end of it. Small summary because it's a small one, but it's tremendous chizuk because this is from 200 plus years ago. And he's talking how, a minute, according to him, is that great. We have to realize, it's very important that we realize. We have to know what took place from Reb Nachman to right now. We went through a lot. 70-something years ago, there's a Holocaust. You know what? Right before the Holocaust, there's a lot that went on. A lot. And I'm not, after the Holocaust, we're from people, we know a minna, everything's a minna. We have to realize 200 plus years ago, according to Reb Nachman saying, he's saying not everybody was talking about a minna. He was talking about a minna. I'm sure other tzaddikim were talking about a minna too, but he's saying people think a minna is something small. He's saying 200 plus years ago, to me a minna is the biggest thing. And he's comparing it to be a minna with simplicity. He says like Kamosha Hanoshim, like the women, but today, women today, it's that simple amina, it's very precious. It's so tremendous chizuk over here. Yeah, let's do 34 Lamadal. Yeah, he says amina choshev kitzadoka. He says amina, it's the value is like tzedakah, tzedakah. Kamosha kosev, like it says in the Torah, v'hemen b'Hashem. This is by Avram Avinu. He believed in Hashem. Vayachshavei oloi tzedakah, and Hashem, valued it like tzedakah, yeah, like righteousness, but tzedakah. And he says, v'daizeh zoichel lebanim, and this is and through Amina, he says, you merit children, and Avram also, he merited children, after this. And he also says, he's Amina b'gematria bonim. So if you do the gematria on the word Amina and the word bonim, same gematria, okay? Okay, so just, that's 34. Let's do 35. Okay, 35, it's not something that you'll hear every day. But let's take tremendous chizuk in it because we need to. And this was said by Reb Nachman 200 plus years ago. Okay? Lamed Hai 35. He says, Va'omar, he says, Shahoylech APIKORSIS Godol Ala Oilam. He says, it's coming. He's coming a big APIKORSIS on the world. APIKORSIS means they don't believe. He says, there's going to be a big, a lot of non-believing coming, continuing. He says, Chaim sleeper come up on him, and Reb Nosson saying also, many times he would speak about this. APIKORSIS godel, that he says that it's happening. It's drawing more and more, non-belief, big non-belief. Because by many sins, many averos, it's spreading in the world. APIKORSIS. Continuing. And he says, Ashrai Misha Yachzik Asmai Be'amina Be'elio Itim. He says, how fortunate it is, the ones that strengthen themselves with their minna, just plain a minna during those times when APIKORSIS is spreading. Continuing. Va'omar, he says, Alpha P, he says, even though any moil, it's not going to help. Klal. It's not going to help at all. Mashi Mesaper Zois. Even though he says 200 plus years ago, what I'm saying now, it's not going to help. Because it's going to happen, it's going to spread, yeah? He says, Shia APIKORSIS ba'olam, and because this APIKORSIS is going to spread, and we're going to have to strengthen ourselves with a minna, okay? Anyway, he says, even though I'm letting you know this, he says, even though miskaberis APIKORSIS v'hababilim, the APIKORSIS is going to spread and all the confusions associated with it. Yeah, continuing. He says, because if you look at Tanakh, you look at the story in Sefer Daniel, he says, if we learn Daniel, we see in the end, all the way to the end, the last chapter of Daniel, it's a prophecy for before Mashiach's times. It says how it's going to be major APIKORSIS. Continuing, and he says, and it's already predicted, yeah, that before Mashiach comes, it's going to be clarified, it's going to be, it can all be clarified, and, who's righteous and who's not, yeah? And he says, even though the wicked, they're still going to be wicked, the maskilim yavini, the chili, and the wise ones, they're gonna understand, and they're not gonna fall in. Yeah, continuing. So he's saying, so if that's the case, ma'acher shedia nikoidim, it was already predicted, it was already told to us, hundreds, thousands of years ago, that this is going to happen. Yeah. It was already foretold. This is going to be the Nesoim before Mashiach comes. Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be clarified, and they're going to be whitened and purified. Those that are holding on with them. Yeah. And he explains, and the ones that merit to stand against this Nesoim, yeah, the Yeshur Chaim b'minasai, and they remain, standing with their minna, yeah. Ashrei loy, how fortunate for them. V'yiskel l'chol tiv, and they're going to merit all the good. Ha'me'ita loveloni, that's destined to come. B'meher b'yemeni. Asher nibi alem kol nibi eni mechachmayim mikoydim. And the ones that hold on with a minute, they're gonna merit all the good that was already prophesied. Mikoydim, yeah. Continuing. Bam Kain, he says, if so, it's proper, if this is the case, that everything was already, prophesied prior, he says, it would make sense that everyone should, be smart, v'yochis al atzmai, and to have, to have rachmanis on themselves, the shor kaim chozik b'minasai, to remain, standing strong in their minna. Right? If all this was prophesied already, and everybody should have mercy on themselves, and rachmim on themselves, and we shouldn't fall into this nesoyin, right? Continuing, since it was already told, before, this is what's going to happen. He says like this. He says, the truth is he says, even though it was already foretold, even though it was already, told before this was going to happen, he says, he says, even though many are going to fall in, as it says in Daniel by the end, The wicked, they're gonna go more wicked. Continuing, he says, even though Ani Medina Zos Mikoid, because Reb Nachman saying, I'm letting you know, it's Reb Nachman 200 years ago, right? Daniel is, first base in English time, right? So, 2000, like almost 3,000 years ago. Yeah, Reb Nachman saying, 300 years ago, 200 years ago, that this is what's going to be happening. Yeah, he says, he says, Ani Medina Zos Mikoid, I'm letting you know prior. Because those few Kesherim, yeah, that they're going to hold strong with their Emunah, continuing, and he says, and certainly, for those, few that are holding on, there's going to be Mechomas Gedolos Bedat, and there's going to be major Mechomas in their Das, Laman Yeh Lahem, Lemesher Nefesh, Ves Amtes Yoser, there's going to be major mechomas in the das, and the reason we're not saying why I'm giving this over now is that so that it should be the nation nefesh v'schaskes, that it should be when you read these words, it should be a comfort for the nefesh, and it should strengthen them more when they see that all that they're going through, which is already prophesied that it's going to happen. We wrote about it before. Okay, so that's the end of 35. So look, we're going to, a little summary on this because, I'm talking here I'm talking to those that want to hear. This is Rav Nachman, this is Rav Nachman recording conversations. And he's letting us know 200 plus years ago, there's a big APIKORSIS coming. APIKORSIS means, we'll soon see. He talks more what APIKORSIS means, but I can tell you what Chazal say. The Gemara in Chelik, in the end of Sanhedrin, says one of the explanations. What's APIKORSIS? APIKORSIS is when people say Mahan Yilon Rabbanon. Rabbanon are the Talmidei Chacham. The people say, what benefit do we have from them? Being Talmidei Chacham. They're studying Torah. It's for them, right? APIKORSIS, Rav Nachman saying it's going to be spreading before Mashiach comes. And he's saying, and we should know that, APIKORIS is no Olam Haba. This is what it says. This is what it says in the Mishnah, in Chelik. One of the people don't have Olam Haba, it's if you according to this category of APIKORSIS. Ach was just trying to give chizuk to us. Look, the only way to, in our times, to be able to hear and to see, to understand, is we're in the thick of the APIKORSIS. It's you just you open your eyes, you look in these Sfarim and you get chizuk. Okay, we should all be zoch to take out the right chizuk from this Sichos Haran, from all of them, and we're going to stop over here.